Bang! The world exploded into a kaleidoscope of chaos. One minute I was staring at a peaceful oak tree, the next it transformed into a bubbling pit of lava. My heart pounded in my chest. What had happened to my Minecraft world? I took a cautious step forward. The ground felt different. Instead of cool dirt, my feet landed on a bouncy slime block. Before I could react, I was launched into the air. I landed with a thud on a block of diamond. Talk about a rough landing. As I picked myself up, I noticed something even stranger. A pig flew past, flapping its little legs. It was riding a saddle, made of cake. This was madness. I had spawned into a world where every block was random. This was going to be interesting and slightly terrifying. The first few days were a blur of confusion and laughter. It felt like I had been dropped into a world where nothing made sense, and every step I took was met with some new bizarre twist. The unpredictability was both thrilling and terrifying. Imagine trying to mine wood with a diamond pickaxe. It was like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Completely over the top and utterly ineffective. But that was just the beginning of the madness. Or finding yourself at the bottom of a ravine because the stone you were standing on turned into air. Yeah, not fun. One moment you're on solid ground, the next you're plummeting into darkness. Food was a gamble. One minute I was biting into a juicy apple, savoring its sweetness. The next I was chewing on a mouthful of gunpowder. The shock was indescribable. It was like my taste buds were on a roller coaster ride. Let's just say I learned to identify my food sources very carefully after that. I became a food detective, scrutinizing every item before daring to take a bite. Shelter was another challenge. Building a house was impossible. Every time I thought I had a plan, the game threw a wrench in the works. Every block I placed was a surprise. Sometimes it was the right block, other times it was something completely unexpected, like a block of TNT. I tried to make a door but ended up with a wall of lava. Safety first. It was like the game had a mind of its own, constantly keeping me on edge. I spent most of my nights hiding in caves, hoping they wouldn't randomly collapse on me. The caves were my sanctuary, but even they weren't always safe. Despite the chaos, I couldn't help but laugh. The absurdity of it all was just too much. It was like living in a comedy sketch. It was like the game was playing a hilarious prank on me. Every twist and turn was more ridiculous than the last. I had to admit, it was kind of fun being kept on my toes. The unpredictability made every moment an adventure, and I never knew what to expect next. By day 11, I was determined to build some sort of base. I had been wandering aimlessly for days, collecting random items and resources, but it was time to put them to use. It was time to conquer this randomness. I needed a place to call home, a sanctuary amidst the chaos, or at least try to organize it a little. My inventory was a mess, filled with all sorts of blocks and items that I had no idea what to do with. My solution, a giant chest, a massive storage unit where I could dump everything and sort it out later. I figured I could store all the random blocks I found and maybe, just maybe, build something resembling a shelter. It was a start at least. It was a slow and chaotic process. Every time I thought I was making progress, I'd get distracted by something else. I'd mine for hours, only to find my inventory filled with everything but what I needed. It was frustrating to say the least. Need cobblestone? Have some emerald ore. It was like the game was playing tricks on me. Looking for wood? Here's a dragon egg. The randomness was both amusing and infuriating. Speaking of the dragon egg, that became the roof of my base. It was an unexpected but oddly fitting addition. Don't ask how. It just kind of happened. One moment I was placing blocks, the next there it was. One minute I was placing blocks, the next, bam! A giant purple egg was perched precariously on top. A giant purple egg was perched precariously on top. It was both a symbol of my chaotic journey and a reminder of the randomness of this world. I wasn't sure if I should be impressed or terrified it would hatch. Either way, it was my home now and I was determined to make it work. Section 4, Mobs and Munchies. Days turned into weeks, and I slowly started adapting to my crazy world. I learned to use the random blocks to my advantage. A dispenser filled with lava. Hello, instant mob defense system. A pressure plate connected to a TNT trap. Not today, Mr. Creeper. Speaking of mobs, they were just as unpredictable as the blocks. Zombies dropped cookies instead of rotten flesh. Skeletons fired arrows made of bone meal. And don't even get me started on the chickens that laid diamond eggs. Food, however, was still a challenge. I tried to stick to farming, but even the crops were random. I once planted a pumpkin seed and grew a cactus. Another time I harvested a wheat field and ended up with a pile of gold nuggets. Go figure. Section 5, Dragon Dueling with a Twist. By day 71 I was ready for the ultimate challenge, defeating the Ender Dragon, in a world where everything was random. Easy, right? I gathered my most useful random loot, a sword made of redstone, a bow that shot fireworks instead of arrows, and an enchanted helmet that turned my vision upside down. I was ready for anything, or so I thought. The battle was interesting to say the least. The Ender Dragon breathed fireballs made of wool. The Endstone towers were replaced with giant cakes. And to top it all off, the dragon kept teleporting me to random locations around the end. It was a long, chaotic, and hilarious fight. But in the end, I emerged victorious thanks to a well-aimed firework and a healthy dose of luck. Section 6, The End, or Is It? Surviving 100 days in a random block Minecraft world was the craziest, funniest, and most unpredictable adventure of my life. Every day brought new challenges and surprises, From unexpected mobs to bizarre landscapes, it was a roller coaster of emotions, filled with moments of triumph and sheer panic. I learned to adapt, to think on my feet, and to never ever take a block for granted. Each block had the potential to be a lifesaver or a deadly trap. My survival skills were put to the ultimate test, and I discovered new strategies and techniques I never thought possible. Looking back, I can't help but laugh at all the crazy moments. The unexpected twists and turns kept me on my toes and provided endless entertainment. There were times when I couldn't believe what was happening, and all I could do was laugh at the absurdity of it all. The time I accidentally built a house out of slime blocks and bounced my way to the sky was unforgettable. It was a hilarious mistake that turned into one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in Minecraft. The sheer joy of bouncing around was a welcome break from the usual survival grind. The look on my face when I tried to eat gunpowder thinking it was sugar was priceless. It was a classic blunder that reminded me to always double-check my inventory. These little mishaps added a layer of humor to the intense survival experience. And of course, the epic battle against the wool-breathing Ender Dragon. It was the ultimate test of my skills and determination. The adrenaline rush of facing such a formidable foe was unlike anything else. Every moment of that battle was etched into my memory. This random block world pushed me to my limits, but it also showed me that even in chaos there's always a way to survive, and have a few laughs along the way. The unpredictability of the world kept me engaged and constantly thinking of new ways to overcome the challenges. Now who's up for a 100-day hardcore mode challenge in this crazy world? It's going to be tougher, more intense, and even more rewarding. If you thought the random block world was wild, just wait until you see what hardcore mode has in store. Are you ready for the ultimate test of your Minecraft skills?